Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. At Daniel's place, Lucy gets frustrated with him for forgetting she doesn't have school today and notes he's been grumpy lately. He and her mother forgot they were going to the gallery today. She asks, "Did you two have a fight or something?" A knock comes at the door. It's Heather. Awkwardness ensues. Heather hopes Daniel doesn't mind her stopping by like this. Lucy senses something is going on with them. She doesn't believe their work-related excuses. Heather wants to speak to Daniel in private and Lucy snaps. "Now I know something's up." Once Lucy's been sent off to do homework, Heather asks Daniel if he thinks their daughter suspects the truth. Lucy eavesdrops as Daniel replies, "How could she?" Heather refers to them being a secret. "I know that you want to tell Lily about us. This idea of putting us on hold until you get around to telling her, I'm not comfortable with that." She wonders if they'll tell Lucy the truth. Daniel says there's not an easy answer. Heather disagrees. They love each other. Lucy grins when she hears this. Heather tells Daniel they've lost so much time already, she doesn't want to lose anymore. Daniel doesn't either. Heather wonders how she's supposed to resist the urge to hold his hand or kiss him. Daniel was up all night too, asking himself the same questions. This isn't easy to say. Heather frowns. "Are you taking a step back from what happened?" Daniel assures Heather he's not backing away from what happened. "I want us to be a family again just as bad as you do. But what they did, as right as it felt, I still cheated on Lily. I can't keep disrespecting her by continuing to do that behind her back." Heather hedges that he also won't go to California and tell her. He feels he shouldn't fly out there and dump this on her out of the blue. Heather says he's an honorable man, and she kind of hates that right now. Daniel takes Heather's hand. He would love to spend every night with her in his arms, but I can't. I would hate myself. Heather can't be this close to him and not touch him. So, where does that leave us in his suite? Tucker calls Ashley and leaves her a message saying he knows where she is and he knows what she's doing. In Paris, Ashley and Tracy arrive at the bistro where the scene went down with Tucker. Ashley flashes to Tucker being violent, and Tracy asks if she's sure she wants to do this. Ashley tells her she needs proof of what happened. "I need this to end." She thanks Tracy for being there, not just as a sister, but as a witness. She looks forward to getting Tucker out of her head and to getting on with her life. Just then, she gets Tucker's voicemail taunting that he'd like to know how she'll react to the truth. Ashley curses. Tracy wants to go get a croissant, but Ashley says she's put this off long enough. She spots the waiter from the day she and Tucker were there and asks if he remembers her. He does. Ashley asks if he remembers her companion that day. The waiter says he was angry and rude. "He made a commotion. The way he left, I felt bad for you." Ashley nods. "It was a real spectacle when he threw the glass and tossed the chair aside, right?" The waiter doesn't recall a broken glass or an overturned chair. He walks off. Ashley protests to Tracy. "I know what I saw. I know what I heard." "I remember." Tucker finds Kyle at the GCAC bar and asks how his family is doing. Kyle says it's none of his business and mocks him for having to break in a new board at Glissade. Tucker insists it's all good. Kyle doubts that him buying their loyalty will keep them around for long. Tucker counters that Kyle almost turned on his daddy. Kyle learned from that and remembered what's actually important. "You'll always be a toxic mess," Kyle tells McCall. "Glissade will crash and burn, just like everything else in your life." Tucker mocks Kyle's tedious sermon and needles him about being passed over for the number 2 spot at Gibbot for the second time. If he'd stuck with him and Audra, things would be different. Kyle doesn't want to do things the wrong way. Tucker wonders if he could get any more naive. He thinks it must drive him crazy that Diane slid into the co-CEO spot. Kyle says he suggested her for the role. He wouldn't expect Tucker to understand the satisfaction that comes from working with family. Tucker saw his ambition to have it all on his terms for a moment when he was with Audra, but he chickened out. You're never going to be a player, man, until you step out of your father's shadow. With that, he walks off. In Victor's office, he hollers into the phone at someone to find out what happened to that Jordan woman.